It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.
And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another live broadcast here at the Logan Power Show. As you've been seeing here in 2023, we're having a no holds bar type of mentality of what we want people to focus on, and that is change. We also want to give the people, the community, information that will be pivotal to understanding what's successful in your life. And I want people to understand the need and necessity of what we have to do here in this time, and that's what we're praying for change. So, as you know, in 2023, the Logan Power Show will be firsthand, giving you first class information when it comes to our North Charleston, South Carolina mayor's race. As we know, we're going to try to interview all the candidates and give you all the information as possible. We've been blessed to be part of the moderation, and we're looking forward to some more information coming out throughout this particular year. We know November timeframe is when the mayor's race for North Charleston will be voted upon, and we'll see what it will come with and entail, what the results will be. Well, again, we're bringing this man here. This is his third time running for mayor of North Charleston. Came very close in 2019, and he's going right back at it again, and will not stop. He's very relentless. The people call him man of the community, our very own Mr. John Singletary. How you doing, Mr. Singletary?
I'm fine. How are you doing? Always a pleasure, Mr.
Yes,
Logan.
yes, sir. It's a pleasure and an honor. Uh, just moving forward, got a couple questions. I know your time is valuable here. We know that 2019, you just fell briefly short for achieving your goal of making history. We know in North Charleston's history, there's never been an African American mayor, and there's always been the actual stigma is that if it's not broke, don't fix it. What makes you believe that this go around will be different than any other opportunity you've had before in trying to become the first African American mayor here in North Charleston, South Carolina?
Well, there are many things that are going to be different. One is that we've been able to ignite our base much earlier because they knew from the end of 19 that we were going to be running. If you can remember, in 2011, 9 and 11, there were 4,000, 6,000 people total that voted. 4,000 happened to be Caucasian, 2,000 African American. In 2015, African Americans outvoted all other races combined in the entire city. We had a total of 5,000 African Americans to vote, 4,000 Caucasians, and about 250 Asians and Hispanics. In 2019, we had 12,033 people that voted. 8,000 were African Americans, around 4,000 Caucasians. And what ended up happening is the people in North Charleston who want change, they really got behind the issues that were involved with North Charleston. I happened to walk the streets of many of the neighborhoods, talking day to day with the voters, and they are now at a state where they feel that we are at the threshold of changing that. Of course, in the Southeast, there's two cities with over 100,000 people that have never had a Black mayor. That's Macon and North Charleston. North Charleston is going to change that. I just got off the phone for about an hour with the Department of Justice on last week. And the reason is because even though the final result says that we did not win the race, the numbers say that we did. And so they're going to be investigating it. We estimate that we won the election by about 2,000 votes. And so we're going to be at it again. because here's the scenario. If you go to the bank, you carry your money, you count it before you go to the bank. Once you give them your funds, is this deposit ticket. The deposit ticket is used in order to verify if the count is correct. We take our votes to the poll as a group, and what we end up doing is we simply put them in the machine and we wait for them to give us the final result. What we must do is count our votes before we carry them to the polls, and then we use the final results to verify. Because in the North Charleston race, for every single precinct in the Dorchester County, there were two final official results that contradicted each other, as well as a lot of other things that were incorrect. And so we think that what's going to be different this time is that there's going to be a monitor or what they call a special observer from the Department of Justice to take a look at that, as well as some other measures that will be taken to make sure that the count is accurate for North Charleston.
Absolutely. And you have a lot of plethora of knowledge, and you can see that you've done a lot of your homework. Major question that we want to ask, before we go into sort of like a breaking phase. We know that right now people say knowledge is power, and knowledge is something that we say that we want, but we don't really embrace. Being a person like yourself, who is a man of plethora of knowledge and has a lot to give, and people have been able to receive that knowledge holistically with no type of setback. Do you sometimes feel that when the information that you're giving, are the people really taking heed to it, or do you feel that sometimes your words are not getting the impact that it should be
Mhm.
based off of financial commercials, things that's out there? A lot of times when you've seen uh the David Goliath races where the David won, there was a big push, grassroots that was very strong, but then also there was the television, there was a lot of broadcasting, things sort of change over the guard. Do you believe that this particular knowledge that you have, this goal, are people really taking heed to it? Or they're saying, well, hey, I got you, but they're not really with you in the fight?
The information is not falling on deaf ears. They are not only reading it, taking heed to it, but there is action from the public to substantiate that. We educate with a vengeance because we believe that education is the way, and an educated electorate is the way to make change. We've published several periodicals. The first one that we published, which was this one, 2015, about 14 pages, and people began to read it. And initially, they said, well, we won't read, and that you shouldn't take the time to do and put out that kind of publication. In 19, we did another publication, about 16 pages. And the reason why I say that it's not falling on deaf ears is because we have a mechanism that we use in order to determine or keep score. And that is the number of votes that go in. North Charleston's voting base has doubled since we've been in the race. Again, in 2019, there were 6,000 total. In 2009, there were 6,000 total. African Americans happened to be about 50% of that, of what Caucasians actually voted, but about 33% of the total. In 2011, the same thing. I started in 2015 and began to educate people. In 2015, we had 9,000 African Americans votes, more than doubled, up to 5,000. So that's how we keep score. In 19, it moved to 8,000. So we've gone from 2,000 to 5,000 to 8,000. That's how we keep score as to whether or not people are listening. That gives me not only the courage and the wherewithal to move forward, but it makes it enjoyable to see that our community can galvanize and outvote all other races combined. Now, I would be the mayor for the entire city. And that means that whether you're white, black, green, yellow, purple, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, my job is to increase the quality of your life. And every child in a family needs something different. Every sector of our population needs something different. And so there would be an agenda for each of them so that they would be able to get the most that they can out of the election.
Absolutely. And for those that are listening to us right now, I want you all, we're going to bring this back after a quick commercial break. So stay tuned to the Logan Power Show nationwide, worldwide. We appreciate y'all.
Everybody on the street got the rhythm at their feet. Dance it out, yeah, dance it out. Everybody on the street got the rhythm at their feet. Dance it out, yeah, dance it out. Can see you through the crowd. You got the luck to break me down. I'm not having any doubts. Ooh, come on and dance it out, dance it out. I'm here to say that you can't deny. When the music starts, it lights a fire. Back to straight, come on, let's fly.
Hey, everybody, welcome back here to the Logan Power Show. As we were talking to candidate, Mr. John Singletary, who's running for mayor of North Charleston, South Carolina. So we want to get back into this very, very informative interview here today. So, Mr. Singletary, we know that the race to the promised land is not easy. There's been told there's about 11 people who may be running, including yourself, with the incumbent Mayor Keith Summey. But there are some things up in the air. One, Mayor Keith Summey, if he decides to run for another term, that's undetermined. And then also the other stipulation is the the chief of North Charleston. It all depends if the mayor runs or not. So there's a lot of things coming into play. Um, do you see, in your personal opinion, the votes being sort of spread out unevenly, that it will throw off who should actually win or not, in your humble opinion?
I don't think ultimately it's going to make a difference. Let me say, I guess before I address it, is when we take a look at North Charleston and the sector of the population that is outvoting all others, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever. In this case, it happens to be the African American community. There's no reason why they should wait to see who is going to run and not going to run, the incumbent or anyone else. Why? Because they are not the swing vote, they are the determining factor as to who becomes the mayor. So whether the mayor decides to run or not should not at all prevent them from uniting as soon as possible to determine who they feel should be the mayor. Anyone who says, I'm going to wait, particularly in a case where that sector is not being treated fairly, I'm going to wait, and if under the present administration the mayor decides to run again, what they're saying is, I'm willing to allow him to mistreat you another 4 years, and I'm only going to run if he decides not to. That community is up against the entire establishment, the good old boy system. And he's simply a part of that system. So anyone who is afraid of one individual and decides not to run because of that is certainly not going to go up against the whole system. Now, when I ask people about the race, what I hear is, on the one hand, I hear people say, there are 11 people so far in the race. How is it going to affect whether you can run or not? Some say that the field is crowded because the incumbent Team Summy is afraid of a head-to-head, a one-on-one with Team Singletary. We're putting 8,000 votes on the table. He can only put 4,000. And so as a result of that, they also say, well, you came very close in the last election. They also say, we understand that it's going to be almost impossible not to have a situation where there's going to be more than one person from our community running, because even as far back as when Christ was here, Judas took 40 pieces of silver as a sellout, and as a result, that is why so many people are in the race, that there are always going to be those who are willing to accept 40 pieces of silver. Some then say, on the other hand, that we have so many in the race because the establishment does not want to turn the city of North Charleston, one of the richest in the state, over to possibly hands that are African American, and that because the blacks have quadrupled their vote from 2,000 to 8,000 since Team Singletary has been running, that that is why we have so many in the race. Others say that any candidate who's genuine should be able to run if they are in the race to run as a genuine candidate and not split the black vote. That if they are there to split the black vote, then they should be crucified. What I say as a candidate, and I've always said, is that anyone who has the skill set to run for the city of North Charleston, as well as the qualifications that have been set, they should run and have a duty to run if they can improve the quality of life for all of the citizens, white, black, green, yellow, purple, Asian, Hispanic, Native American, all citizens in North Charleston. I would be the mayor for the entire city, all citizens, and under my administration, all citizens would prosper and have a better quality of life.
Yes, sir. And I think that that's something that I would definitely, want people to understand that this is a very I would say it's pretty much the truth. Is that the truth, and there is the falseness. Yes, Judas did take 30 pieces of silver, and there are some Judases out there that tries to pretend to be your friend, but but will backstab you in the back. Um, so, Mr. Singletary, the biggest thing that you hear that you're going to bring dramatic change, and with that dramatic change, you're going to hold people accountable.
Mhm.
On day one, what would be the first thing you want to hold accountable for so that you will hold your word? And the reason why I say there's a lot of people who say, put me in office and life's going to be great. Put me here and I promise you it's going to happen. And the reality is, it's not always the case. And I'm not saying you're not going to do that, but the reality is there's been people who have been made these hopes, but the reality they can't come through. So what is one of the one or two things you want to get done if you were elected from 2023 to 2027?
Well, the very first thing that we do is the administration would be held accountable for the information that it puts out. We would be transparent. So we'd open our books up so that the public would be able to see what is actually going on. That would require a audit be done. We would do a forensic audit to make sure that all those who have been in contact with city funds will be held accountable. And then if there has been some mismanagement of funds, that it is actually restored back to the citizens. Out that side of that, day one, we have to take a look at crime. Crime in North Charleston is the highest in the state. We are the crime capital of the state per capita, one of the highest in the nation. And it has been that way over the last 30 years. If you track the total crime index for North Charleston, it has progressively gotten worse. Now, there are segments that have gotten better and worse from year to year, but the whole crime index has progressively gotten worse under the present regime every single year. I can correct that. I can change that. And it is because if you can do it in one neighborhood consistently, then you can do it in the other neighborhoods. It's just a matter of whether or not there's a willingness to do that. I'll make sure that crime goes down, no exception. The next thing is there has to be affordable housing in North Charleston. We presently have gotten rid of every single public housing unit that we've had in the city. And it's not necessary to do that if we want to grow. We have a housing authority that gives out vouchers, but we do not have a housing and urban development section that would allow us to then do some public housing for citizens who have been here long term, want to actually stay in the city of North Charleston. We have to take a look at the per capita income for the people. Jobs and contracts bring that. When you have areas that are being gentrified, North Charleston is the highest in the nation when it comes to evictions. We sit next to the highest in the nation in terms of gentrification. So we have to address the housing situation so that our citizens are allowed to stay. We should not partner with or allow a state organization to take federal funds to come in, spend billions of dollars to affect 31 neighborhoods. Every single one of them happened to be African American in North Charleston, to run out 25,000 citizens who happen to be African American. That should be an embarrassment to the state as well as to the federal Department of Transportation. That's what SCDOT is doing along with the city. Outside of that, there are other areas that we would address high priority. Homeless, for instance. We've got a growing homeless population in almost everywhere you go, particularly when you see a wooded area. If you look closely, you'll see citizens, American citizens, living in the woods. And to me, in the richest city in the state, that's an embarrassment. And that's something that we could take care of. We could take care of because there's a certain level of humanity that all men and women should have. And so those are the things that I will do or address on day one.
Yes, sir. And I think that for those that listen to us right now, I want you to take heed to what Mr. Singletary is saying. I want you to understand that he's giving some fact-finding information that will make us better. And we know that on November the 7th, your time will be there to vote. Follow us here in the Logan Power Show because we're going to be part of the debates, viewing these people. We're going to basically make sure we interview everybody. We are making strides. We're going to try to do our best to give you all the information firsthand. You saw our first mayoral debate. We had two candidates who came, Mr. John Singletary and Mr. Floyd Daughter. They came in, they gave their speech of what they want to see done, what some things that we do are facing. So, biggest thing I can tell people right now here in the North Charleston, South Carolina area, let's continue to keep our city in prayer. Let's also continue to keep the people who are running for election in prayer, because I don't know about you, but prayer is needed. And then also, and when people are given the opportunity to make this change, let's look back on these videos and let's say, hey, you made these promises, let's hold it to it. And if whoever makes this leap of faith, let's continue to say like, hey, let's make a difference. So, family, I want you to continue. Let's do what we got to do best. Let's vote. Don't let your voice not be heard. That's all the time I got. My name is Calvin, the Logan Power Show nationwide, worldwide. We love you. We'll see you soon.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.